What's on guys, we're back with a brand new video. Today's video, I'll just be talking about just a bit about what St Kilda are doing this season, because as a St Kilda fan, I kind of just want to talk about my perspective and how I think they could fix everything and all that. But before we do get into it, make sure you do subscribe, because we're getting close to that 600 subscriber mark. And go and follow my TikTok, there's linked down in the description below. I've been uploading a lot in there, I've been getting a lot of new traction on my TikTok. Has about like 1,600 followers. So please go and follow that down below, because I upload a few times a day on my TikTok if you want to see some more content from me. But let's get straight into it. So I'm just in shock about what St Kilda are doing this season, and I don't even know where to start. We're talking about St Kilda. I didn't get how we went from such a good, fast, entertaining football, and I'm not just talking about last year. Like in our pracky matches, we look like we're going to be contending for the top four, even though, it is practice matches. But yeah, like the style of football we were playing, the game style was there, our structure was there. And then ever since that GWS game in round one, after we won, I think we all just thought it was just going to happen or something. Because after that, we had a little bit of a fight against Melbourne. And now looking back into some of our performances, that's probably an honourable loss, even though we actually played absolutely horrendous against Melbourne, and if we were just probably 75%, we probably could have beat Melbourne on that day. So I thought, you know what, probably poor start back at Marvel. I thought we were going to have a better time at Marvel, but nah. And then we move over to the game against Essendon. We were expected to absolutely get on top, trouble over Essendon. I was predicting that we were going to absolutely smash by about 50 plus, because we should. Essendon were in a bad spot at that time in the season, and we were, coming off a loss, but we already got a great win round one, and then we just completely didn't even turn up. We didn't try to tackle. We got outrun. Like, it just did not make sense. And every time I watch St Kilda, it looks like there's 18 extra players on their team, because they just have players everywhere across the field, and then I'm looking around, I'm like, where are our players? Like, it doesn't even look like we have 18 players on the field. A lot of players are out of form. It just makes no sense. And then we made that beautiful second half comeback against West Coast, and everyone thought, yep, St Kilda are back in action. And in the past 2 weeks, we got smashed by 50 plus both times. Almost go down by 100 to Richmond. Get absolutely flogged by Port, which I was pretty disappointed about, because I thought we were going to put a better effort than that. And now we're just looking on. We're sitting at currently 2-4, and you just don't know where to look for St Kilda now. Like, people thought that we could even be, 5-1, 6-0, like what Melbourne and Western Bulldogs. And realistically, we should be in the same position as Melbourne and Western Bulldogs. Yes, we've had a lot of injuries coming into the season, but you can't blame all these injuries on the structure and the desire to win. I don't know what it looks like there's something going on, like in the four walls of Moorabbin, because this is not that like players that are skillful, not even turning up. The much criticism that Brad Hill has been getting this season, he's supposed to be this skillful player, but he's being absolutely horrendous this year with his skills. And that was a benefit of St Kilda's team last year, is how skillful, how fast, and fast football, getting out the back. Our centre clearance game used to be probably top 5 in the league, and our midfield group wasn't even that good last year. We had an injury to Jay Gresham again last year, but you can blame it on the rucks. Like the centre clearance thing, you could probably blame it on the rucks because of the out of Paddy Ryder and Royal Marshall this year. So I feel like this Hawks game coming up is so important to St Kilda this year. We've been so out of form. We need, a big win against Hawks. We try to get some structure going. And then we have Gold Coast the week after, where realistically we should be winning that. And then we could sit at 4-4 and, probably set up our season from there. But these are such important 2 weeks. And being a St Kilda fan, I don't feel confident going into any week anymore. Last year, I knew that we were going to, give our effort every single week, no matter what, we we're going to turn up. But this year, you don't even know what to expect from St Kilda. Absolutely disappointing. And to be honest, I'm actually surprised we've got 2 wins on the board, because how I've been playing has been absolutely horrendous. I would not be surprised if we haven't won a game yet this season. That's just how bad we've been. Like if we look at our two wins, they'll both comeback wins, and we have only won 5 quarters of football this whole season, which is absolutely just horrendous. Like winning 5 quarters of football is just you just don't know what to expect with like that type of output from your team. And when you look at we only won 5 quarters of football, that's less than North Melbourne this year. North Melbourne have won more quarters than St Kilda this year. But this shows the position the Saints are in and what the output they're putting on the game. It's just all effort. It's all about, above the shoulders. That's all that's wrong with St Kilda right now. You could blame it. You could look at, how their game style was playing. But you can see what they're trying to do. It's no different from last year. Literally, there was no major list changes apart from bringing players in. And then we've just looked so much worse. And the players we brought in, Jack Higgins has been probably one of the best small forwards in the league this year. Kicked an absolutely amazing goal against Port. Could be up there for goal of the year. But the way that Jack Higgins is our leading goal kicker with 10 goals this year. And it's just, he's not the problem. Brad Crouch has, had a couple of good games. Looks a bit slow. Like, Brad Crouch, you're kind of questioning bringing him in now. But if anything, Brad Crouch is better than the players we had in our midfield last year. And it's just getting worse. It's just so bad. And I feel sorry for players like a Jack Steele. Because Jack Steele has just not put a foot wrong this season. If we're winning games, Jack Steele would be up there for the Brownlow, just simply of how great and consistent he is. He's one of the most consistent players in the comp. I reckon right now he's probably a top 5 player in the league if you look at it, just the way he's playing. Everyone puts Christian Petrarca so much above him, but I feel like they're almost neck and neck. And I know it could sound a bit biased, but if you look at Jack Steele, don't look at St Kilda when you talk about Jack Steele. Just look at Jack Steele right now and what his output has been this season. He's been absolutely great. Probably an All-Australian lock, you would have to think. Second back year, you don't see many midfielders better than Jack Steele right now in the comp. But yeah, very disappointing to be a St Kilda fan. So I don't know what to think going into this rest of the season. I'm not going to call the season over yet. I feel like this is the most important match for the season coming up against Hawthorn. Because if we lose against Hawthorn, you could almost think that this season could be over. Hawthorn are, they're bottom 4. St Kilda are currently sitting 3rd last on the ladder. And I'm starting to question if maybe St Kilda should just call the season off and, get the young talent in. Because we look at previous years, the teams that pushed out for the finals and then absolutely fell away. In Port Adelaide a couple of years ago, and then they had that huge Zach Butters, Connor Rosie, Xavier Dersma draft that pushed them from nowhere near the finals to push up and impact and be a final side. Came out of nowhere. They finished 10th or 11th in 2019, and in 2020 all them players just rose up and they ended up being for finishing first and having an absolute brilliant season, almost winning the prelim final to set them up for a grand final tilt. And then, Melbourne seems to be getting the benefits of it now with Luke Jackson, who's been so impressive as a key forward this year and actually helps Gawn out in the ruck. And is actually keeping Ben Brown and Sam Wiedemann out the side right now, and he's been so good this year. And then Cosy Pickett, he's probably the most excited player in the comp right now. And then someone that doesn't really talk about when you think of Melbourne from that exact same draft, I think it was the 2019 draft, was the man himself, Trent Rivers, who's been one of the best halfbacks in the league this year. And that's another draft. Them two drafts have just set up Port and Melbourne so perfectly, coming into these past years. And their teams, Melbourne made a prelim final in 2018. Port, just recently made a prelim final, and they're all set up from stuff like that, from having, a great start to, coming out of nowhere, making finals like Melbourne did, and everyone thought they were going to be consistent in 2019, absolutely fell off, finishing second last on the ladder, got all their talent, and now they're looking like they're 6-0, they look like an absolute team that could potentially, win the flag this year, and at the start of the season we were questioning if Melbourne were even going to make finals this year. So this could be a situation where Saints just had to accept that maybe their talent's not there yet. Because if you look at their like Saints young talent right now, they've got the Caulfields, the Hunter Clarks, the Jack Higginses, and all that stuff of the world, and there's not much other young talent around with them. Max King, of course. I'm probably forgetting a couple, but maybe they've gone too fast in trying to be a contender, and maybe they need to take a step back, bring in some more young talent, and go from there for the next season for 2022 or 2023, where they finally make their push like Melbourne are this year, and Port Adelaide are this year also. So that's my thoughts on how St Kilda are going this year. Drop your comments in below, and if you want to make like more videos like this on other teams and just have a a little chat about what they're doing. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to drop a like and a subscribe, and thanks for watching.